our own discernment processes and try to get better at it. We don't have to independently verify everything.
Okay, well, if you want to go about it that way with this, I mean, like, dude, when I take my car to the mechanic to get things repaired or to get maintenance done on my car, like I mean, I listen to what they say. Oh, this needs to be fixed or that needs to be fixed, But I'm not an expert. I'm not going to verify all of the specifics of something, maintenance. If they say, oh, you need a brake flush or whatever, I'm going to look at the price, look at the whatever, decide if I want to do the brake flush, how long it's been, whatever. But I don't know all the technicalities about brake flushes or if they're going to do it right or, or if it's really needed versus not really needed. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm going to trust some authority there. If they say, hey, it's really needed, it's good to do now instead of wait longer, whatever, I might, you know what I'm saying? But it doesn't mean I'm an expert in it. However, I'm accepting the fact that maybe they won't even do the brake flush and I'll get scammed, or something, as an example. Like, it's never happened to me, but I'm just saying, like, well, I guess I'm not checking it. I'm not verifying it either. However, that's, what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, in theory, I'm putting myself at risk because I'm not verifying it, that technically they could scam me or they could deceive me. However, I'm willing to take that risk in that moment because I'm like, okay, well, I'm paying them the money. And then you could talk about, like, there is like Better Business Bureau. You can, if they really mess your thing up, you can whatever. But I'm just saying, like, I am trusting to a degree. But when it comes to like something to me as spiritual about the earth and what the earth is and this whole realm, I'm not willing to just put my trust and authority in Jesuit, Freemasonic, occultists that are connected with JPL and the NASA. It's not only those guys though, but it's just the entire roots of the whole heliocentric model as well. But I'm just saying, like, that would be the analogy, is that I'm not saying you're trusting those exact people, but you know what I mean? Like, if you're going off that, well, okay, yeah.
But you trusted another group, right? And that's how you found out Earth was flat. Or did you independent flat?
No, I wouldn't say I trusted a group. I would say for me, I mean, I could get into my whole journey with it, but no, I didn't just like listen to some things and kind of trust some people that sounded right.
You did what I did. You listened to some people and decided if it's correct, and then you had a look around and you agreed with yourself, this is correct. I now know Earth's flat.
No, that's not really how it was for me. I mean, I don't know. Is that what we're going to get into? I mean, I could share my.
No, I'm just saying, is it the same as me? Did me and you do the same thing and come to different conclusions?
Well, it depends on your background. Like, Gio has a wildly related background in this stuff. So, like, he came to his conclusions probably, maybe you guys, okay, if you were exposed to the same material, he probably could have come to a completely different conclusion just based on his prior information.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. So we both did a good job, and we
just like I was saying. Just like I was saying last night, it seems like there's like a very strong intent on the people that are on the globe side to make flat Earth out to be a belief. They always have to push it into, oh, you just believe some YouTube people, or some people that you believed that it's all about. I know, but I'm saying that there's a difference.
Well, let him finish, though. Let him finish his point, though.
There's a big difference. That's the difference between the two paradigms, right? Like I was saying last night, I think that the flat Earth is more about the loss of a belief, and then you're back to your base axioms, which really aren't beliefs. They're just your present experienced reality, which is harder to call a belief than something that you're just like, oh, well, it's the opposite of my reality, but I totally buy it. That's the problem. It's like there's something intuitive about being stationary and level, which is what we all directly experience, right? That's the difference. That's like the quality over quantity. You could have all the evidence in the world that you have to believe in because it doesn't have anything to do with your intuitive reality.
I disagree with nearly everything you said. I could try and answer.
Well, you would have to somehow, but you really can't, can you?
No, I mean, I hear what he's saying, dude. There are people that do, like, even in the wording you were using, where they kind of want to pigeonhole, like, oh, you think the Earth is stationary and, has planar geometry. Oh, it must be because you just believe someone, or must be just because you're fault. That is very common, dude. I've even heard, like, people.
Yeah. You accused me of that, and I said, is it the same for you?
No, you said you did that, and then you were asking, do we do the same thing? And I never was able to respond to that. I don't know exactly what you meant in that context, but I mean, respectfully, like, I think you and I, just knowing you over the years, I would doubt that we're going about it the same way, because whenever we talk about it, it seems like we may have different approaches, but we could get into that. I'm just saying, you were saying that doing that method, like you were saying,
okay.
you were sort of asking, like, is it okay to kind of like go read some things online, see some pictures, and come to a conclusion that Earth is a globe, in a way, and then and then I got into the whole thing saying, well, when I take my car to the mechanic, I do trust them to a degree. I'm not going to verify everything,
Okay, yeah, we went through.
etc.
Well, new
Hey,
perspective. let me
Don,
say,
can't
a
you?
But when
lot
it
of
comes
folks-
from, but that was, I'm
Hang
sorry
on.
to repeat, but when it comes to the Earth, yeah, it's like, who are you trusting? And then it's a different thing than a
I was
car
just going
mechanic.
to say my
Wait,
new
Don, do you
perspective.
just at least say that you know what I mean when I'm saying if it's intuitively, directly experienced, right? It's something that resonates with you on all levels, that we're stationary level, because we all totally experience that directly every single day. That's what
No, I
we
don't
would
agree.
assume. Well, you can say you don't, but do you at least know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but I don't think
Okay,
it's
great.
really
That's
correct.
all I'm asking for, I
I don't
guess,
think it's
because I don't know
correct.
if you can go any further than that.
I
You can
feel
say it.
like I know
There's
it's a
no
globe in the
correctness
same
to it.
way. I
Something
feel it's a globe
resonates.
by experiencing it.
Well, you don't experience the globe.
I
What
do. I'm
is
telling you. I'm telling
okay,
you. You need to allow me. If I've allowed you,
okay. Go ahead. I'd like to hear what it is that you directly experience without some interpretation that you've been
I'll
told.
tell you. Boats over the curve and sunsets and the stars in a sphere shape. It's a direct experience that fits the model.
I'm willing to agree that some of those things might overlap of what it would be if the Earth was a globe. Like, I'll just make like a light concession that some of those things might overlap. However, does that mean Earth is an actual globe? Just because some of
No,
those
of
things
course
you
not.
mentioned
It
may have
doesn't have
some
anything.
overlap with the model.
But if
Yeah,
Earth
and
appears
it's your
flat,
interpretation as well. It's not a direct
hang on, dude.
experience.
If Earth appears flat, a new perspective says I relate to it being level. Does that mean it is flat and level?
No, of course not. But it's just
So there
that's
you
the
go.
reason
So we're
it's a
both
little
right.
bit more of a direct intuitive thing. Like
No,
you
you need
can't
to
say you
understand it isn't.
experience your interpretation of the sky being balls and so you must be in a ball, or the sun
No,
going over
no.
a
I'm saying I
sunset
think
going over something means that you must be on a ball. You
I
could still
think
be on
I'm
a
on a
flat
ball because
surface
of
with
that.
the sun going away.
I
There would
think
be
I'm on a
nothing
ball
that.
because of that. You think you're on a flat because of what you saw. So we're
Yeah,
equal.
you want to make it the same. You want to make it
Of
equivalent, but
course I
it's
do.
not. It's just not for people that are like having
So now
intellectual
you are
integrity.
asserting that you have a
I don't
better
think you're being
discernment.
intellectually
Dude, can you guys
honest.
go one at a time? I really want to hear your points, but can you please
Yeah,
go
I'm
one at a
trying.
time?
Okay, my only point is I don't think he's being totally intellectually honest if he says that it's just the same because his interpretation of the sky is an experience just as much as our resonated, level stationary Earth that we all directly experience on like a core level, not just like an interpretation of, oh, I see a ball in the sky, I must be one. I must be on one. Oh, the sun went away, I must be on a ball. Nothing intuitive about that. There's a
I didn't
deeper
say that.
sense to the word that you're not considering, I think.
I didn't even say that. And my response is, now you're accusing me of being bad at discernment, and I'm trying to say we're equal.
Well, you can think you were equal, but I think most people here
I
that
know
are
I'm
being
equal.
intellectually and having their intellectual
Yeah.
integrity intact wouldn't agree. That's all.
Rather
So
than
all you've
talk
got is
about
an
it,
ad hom against
rather
my
than talk about
discernment.
each other, you guys could be live streaming models. You could be sharing links. You could be sharing visuals and diagrams. You could be doing so many things instead of just you're doing this. No, you're doing this.
Yeah, I don't want to be
No, it
stuck
was
with
more
that.
about the interpretation of what I said that I was having a problem with because he didn't really get the core of it, or he refused to get it. I think he
No,
gets
I
it,
get
but he
you,
just plays the devil's advocate.
bro, I get you, but I did the same method and thought it was a globe.
Okay, it's not equal in my eyes, but it's fine if it is in yours.
It's equal as in we both did our best and we both decided what we think.
Yeah, that's why I don't like really trying to debate with him. He's just going to try to take the opposite opinion, regardless
No,
if
I'm
it
literally
makes any
saying
sense.
Well, okay.
we're equal.
Well, but
I'm
I'll
literally
try
saying.
to hold on. I'll try to give some credence to his point. I mean, he is saying like, okay, so maybe like the way I interpreted that. So from the perspective of like, let's say you had millions and millions of dollars and you could do all kinds of tests. You could do very advanced tests, curvature, all, Dayton Miller, replicate, interferometry, all kinds of stuff. You would then have tons of data. Like you would have like hard world, physical, practical experiments. You would have like a whole array of things that you would have, to really come to a more solid conclusion. Maybe his point to a degree, maybe the way he was saying it is not really an exactly the same thing because he's assuming that maybe you went about something the way he did or something, but at least maybe trying to take his point to some kind of credence to it is simply like, would you agree maybe that like in today's world with limited resources, there's a certain limit to what we can do in terms of testing and observing, and we've all done what we can and we've done our best. However, maybe he would debate whether it's conclusive, like whether if everything you've been able to do or I've been able to do to him would be conclusive. But would you agree that in a way we have taken all of the information, like maybe in some similar way, we've taken all the information we can from all the different ways, and then are distilling, either our best take on things, our best perspective, or if you see it as though you've acquired truth, and so you're speaking from that truth that you've acquired, etc. But just in a similar way that there's a lot of information that we've taken in that we've all put into our journey with it. I don't know. I'm just trying to give his point some to kind of see if we can keep the combo flowing in some way.
Yeah, you might as well give it all you can because it doesn't really have
you.
much else.
Thanks, Jeff.
I would absolutely say I experience it as a globe. Lunar eclipses, solar eclipses, boats over the horizon. Typical distance to the horizon is what it would be on the globe. We have star trails. We got pole stars, different rotating in different ways in different hemispheres.
Gotcha. Hold on. Before you just hold on. If you're just gonna rattle, hold on. Let me just if you want. Okay, sorry. Is that all right?
Things I observe.
I got you. I know there's a bunch of.
Well,
Yeah.
the way I usually pose the question is, what is self-evident about the globe that doesn't have to do with the interpretations you've been taught about the sky and the way the sky works if you were on a globe? Something that if you didn't have any knowledge of any of that, you weren't told about the stars and what they are, the planets and what they are, or any kind of like interpretations of the sky, what would you think without knowing any of that? Just a person born on this earth, never learned any of that. What would you think would be self-evident about being on a spinning ball?
I already told you.
Sure.
Sunsets, boats over the curve, the sky appearing as a sphere.
Yeah,
but if you were like say you're like that person though, and you're going down your checklist of like, okay, so what is it that this place is? Okay, so well, it does seem totally stationary and level, so I'm going to put that at the top because that's like totally self-evident.
Well,
That's what it seems like in every way, at least as far as I could tell now.
you're just
Would I
saying
think that I'm on a ball that's moving? No, there's nothing self-evident about that. But I guess if I interpreted the sky in a certain way, I could
Oh my
somehow
God,
think that. But I think that I would cross those options off because everything's definitely seems stationary and level at a core
no.
intuitive,
You're just
resonating
You're
base.
projecting your
It's your
opinion
base
onto
axioms.
someone
You
else.
can't argue with that.
What do you mean
You
a
project-
plane does? It's the same thing.
You just projected your own opinion onto someone else's hypothetical discernment pans.
You can define it that way. I'm fine with that, but I think most people in here know what I mean.
Let me answer your question directly about what I observe that makes me believe it's a sphere. Every time I go to Nag's Head in North Carolina, we go deep sea fishing. And it doesn't take but a mere 5 minutes for all the 3, 4, 5-story houses to disappear. And you can't see anything. And they disappear. The first story disappears, second story disappears, third story disappears. And it's so quick, it's amazing. And
That
it's
would
a
be
very
it's expected over a planar surface, so it's not.
That's because the math comports with the globe. It doesn't comport with the flat surface. So I'm
See how
sure
we see the same
that.
thing and we just got
So
different
perspective
conclusions.
doesn't exist all of a sudden.
No,
Well, Don,
I don't know how perspective accounts for that, but I mean, if you think it does, whatever. But I don't think there's a general consensus on that.
Now would be a good time to admit we do see boats going over the curve, and that's a normal reason why someone might be a glober.
Yeah, it would just
You
be
assume there's a curve.
a limited misinterpretation of the phenomenon of that optics to.
But that's what we think
You can
do as
recreate
well.
it over a pond. You can literally put the camera near the pond water and put like a little toy boat on the other side, and the bottom of it disappears.
Yep, you can replicate it that way for sure.
Yeah, and we're saying you interpreted it wrong, so now we're equal again on that.
No, it's not. Well, it's able to
Yeah.
replicate.
It's one or the other. It's
the-
equal.
Yeah, it's replicating the phenomenon.
We
So that-
accused you of
Yeah.
interpreting it wrong. You accused us of interpreting it wrong, and now we're equal.
Right. No, we're not equal because we still have the base axioms that, would make
No,
on your
we
checklist.
disagree
Like,
with
okay,
that. We
well, it seems
disagree with
level, it
those.
seems stationary. That's like our core experience.
I
Everyone agrees on
disagree with
that.
that.
So let's go. Wait, okay, so it's over the curvature or perspective. Okay, they both work. So we're going to stick to our core, experience, at least to like, figure out where we are.
Bro.
That would be
Feeling
the
stationary is the
logical way
same
to
on the
go.
globe. That's the core axiom of the globe. Feeling stationary.
Oh yeah, even though it's supposed to be spinning
course
and
it
going all
is.
different directions. Yeah, that would make
Of
sense.
course
You
it
would
is.
just
That's
totally
why there's
guess
an
that, wouldn't you?
argument.
I must be moving, even though I have no idea that I'm moving, and there's no
Yes.
sense of it whatsoever. That's totally intuitive that we're spinning and going around the sun. That's totally
No,
intuitive, even though no one told me
intuitive.
about that.
More intuitive. The fact that we wouldn't feel it if it's moving. So that's going to be the same on both models.
That's the theory, but you would never come up with that intuitively. You'd have to be taught that.
Well, I did.
Oh, you just came up with that on your own? I must be moving, even though I have no sense of it whatsoever.
When I was
You know, like
told,
if you had no
I
globe,
found it intuitive.
Yeah, the whole question is, if you weren't taught any of these things, what would be self-evident about being on a spinning ball without any of like the interpretations of the sky
And
or
I already told
all
you,
the ball myths?
didn't I? I gave you 3 already.
Okay, I'm satisfied. I think I made my point.